I was driving home from Vail with my wife Kathy and my boys Tanner and Shay. One of them had played youth hockey in a game that afternoon in Vail. And we were driving back to Aspen, and a boulder fell off the high canyon walls and crushed the Suburban that I was driving, killing Kathy and both boys, and leaving me untouched. And the story really begins in that canyon. I didn't understand at the time why it happened that way, and I can't say that I understand it any better today. It seems that there are just some things that we are not given to know, at least not while we're here. But since that day, it seems like I've been on an extraordinary journey, and most of it's been with Allison and our boys, Ryder and Burke. Out of the Canyon is the story of our journey. Allison and I wrote this book together in alternating voices as the story evolves. I should mention that co-authoring a book with your wife or your husband is not for the faint of heart. It challenged us in a lot of ways. But in the end, it worked, and the process has brought us amazingly close. We started writing the story down to preserve the truth of things for our boys, so that they would know the whole story. But as we moved into it and started to weave our experiences together, we began to feel that they might have a broader meaning, that they might make a difference to other people who had experienced loss in their own lives. In its essence, this book is a message of hope for anyone that is trying to fight their way out of the darkness back into the light.
This is my first time to actually read a section about my brother. I had a brother who committed suicide, and for many years we didn't really talk about it. And so writing it was a really hard but a really good way for me to put that out and to get that out and to show him that I loved him. So I'm going to see if I can get through this. If I can do this. I've been practicing. What are you doing? I'm knocking vehemently on Rod's door to tell him it is time for dinner and to turn down the music. Rod opens the door but continues to play his guitar/tennis racket and sing along. Everything about his body and his facial expressions show me he thinks he is in the band right now. Finally, the song ends and he becomes Rod again. It's Jefferson Starship, they're hardcore. His inclusion of me draws me to him and his music even more. They're okay. I like Alice Cooper more. Can I borrow your album on Friday night for the sleepover? Yeah, if you take good care of it. Are you girls dressing up again, he asks. Yeah. A few weeks ago, some of my girlfriends and I had made up our faces with dark makeup and danced with the words. We stood on the fireplace as our stage, using sticks from the yard as our microphones. Rod had walked in on our performance and smiled the smile that melts my heart. Mom says it's time to come eat. Come on. One more song and I'll be down. Close the door, he says. Rod turns up the music again, picks up his tennis racket, and drifts back to his life as a world-class guitarist. The words are in his body, expressing all the emotions he can't say out loud. I know he is different even then. I see him retreat within himself at times, how uncomfortable he feels relating to the rest of society and its expectations. Somehow his insecurity and discomfort give me the freedom to be closer to him, to protect him. I walk back into his room and yell over the electric guitar blaring through the speakers. I forgot to tell you, we're having liver tonight. I close his door again. He knows I'll go down to take the ketchup out of the refrigerator so we can survive the meal. I look over to the window near the bed. Dawn is approaching. Today I would eat 100 meals of liver if he would just be here to eat them with me. I'd even give up the ketchup and not hide some of my already chewed bites in my napkin. I'd even promise not to puke. Tears stream down my face as I wonder what kind of music he listens to wherever he is. I hope he has a tennis racket there too. I realize I'm talking out loud to this empty, dark space. I sit and listen and notice that there is a cracking in the darkness similar to being underwater. I am trying to find him. I am looking everywhere, in my sleep and even in this darkness. The yearning is a friend, the only ally that draws me closer to where he is. Thoughts of the phone call and mental pictures of his body and the gun enter, and I feel like I may get sick. I go into the bathroom and lay my head against the cold tile.
This piece is first part of a chapter called Waking to Forever, and it's my first morning after the accident. Pale winter light filters through the windows. As I return to consciousness without warning, the realization of what has happened shatters me. There are no sounds, no words. My whole being suddenly knows that all mornings will bring the same stark and terrible truth. Kathy and the boys are gone. They will not be with me today or ever again. How can I go on comprehending this? I'm so heavy. What do I do if I get out of bed? How do I walk in the daylight when I am filled with darkness? Will I ever sleep again, knowing that I will only awaken to this same nightmare? I have come to a place from which I cannot return, and I do not know how to be here. During the week following the memorial service in Aspen, oh no, wait, I'm sorry. If I may, I'd like to go back and read one other piece. Yes, thanks. As I look back, the following days are indistinct, almost surreal. I'm sheltered and comforted by family, friends, and acquaintances from near and far, and sometimes by people I've never known. A lot of Kathy's buddies, and many of my own, or those we shared, just walk in the door, they man the phone in the kitchen, and tirelessly touch me and those around me with their love and affection. And the people of this small town, where I've spent the better part of my adult life, begin showing up, with flowers and food, but mostly just to spend a few minutes with me, to hold me, to show me that they care. Together they fill the days and the early evenings, and they make all the difference. It is said that it takes a village to raise a child. Now I know that a community can keep a man afloat when his spirit is fragile and things hang in the balance. I don't really know how to describe what the love of this town meant to me, except to say that it meant that I still mattered, that I was not alone, that I would not have to do this by myself, that they would stay the course with me. And maybe above all, that they too loved Tanner and Shay and Kathy in ways that touched and warmed me. The people of our town grieved this loss with me, and they have continued to do so down through the years.